The enemy of my enemy is my friend, so says an old saying. A saying that China seems to be putting into action. China has struck a deal with America's enemy, Iran. It's a $400 billion strategic deal. Why should India care? Because it has serious ramifications for India, strategic, cultural and business. Let me first tell you about the deal. It is an economic and security partnership. As always, China is using its checkbook to have its way. It has bought Iran over for $400 billion. This is a 25-year strategic accord, an 18-page agreement that weds Iran to China for a quarter of a century. Once it is signed, Iran will open its doors for Chinese investment, not in one or two sectors, but across the Iranian economy. The Chinese presence in Iran would expand in banking, telecommunications, ports and railways, plus more than a dozen projects will go to Chinese companies. What is Beijing getting in return? Cheap oil. China will walk away with a steady supply of Iranian oil at a heavily discounted rate for 25 long years. And this is just one part of the story, the economic aspect. The deal also has a military dimension. There will be joint training and exercises, joint research and weapons development. Even intelligence sharing is part of this agreement. Now, let me be very clear here. Iran has not signed on the dotted line yet. Its parliament has not approved the deal. China has not shared the full details of the deal either. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Beijing was asked about this today. They did not share any information. But the details of the deal that have leaked are reportedly part of the final version. Iran is not hiding the fact that it is negotiating this agreement with China. On the 5th of July, Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif indicated that the deal will happen and it will be presented before the parliament of Iran for approval.
With confidence and conviction, we are negotiating a 25-year strategic agreement with China. I must tell the dear nation of Iran that there is nothing secret in the contract with China. When Mr. Xi met with Supreme Leader and talked about the strategic relationship between Iran and China and the 25-year agreement, we announced it. When I brought a draft agreement to China, we announced it. And when China has responded, we will announce it.
It seems like Tehran has got the paperwork ready. This deal will fundamentally change Iran's relationship with China. It will put Tehran in Beijing's corner. This should be worrying for America. Trump's maximum pressure policy against Iran has failed clearly. China went under the nose of the Americans and managed to negotiate a deal with Tehran, one that could create more flashpoints in West Asia. But this deal is equally concerning for India, and that's what we'll focus on right now. Remember, India has an old relationship with Iran. India was one of the biggest buyers of Iranian oil. Last year, India stopped buying from Iran. That's because America imposed sanctions and gave no waivers to India. But energy security or oil security is just one part of the India-Iran equation. There's a serious strategic aspect as well. The Chabahar port is what it's called. India has invested heavily in the Chabahar port. It was seen as India's counter to the Gwadar port in Pakistan, India's link to Afghanistan and Central Asia. If China starts calling the shots in Iran, which China always does after pumping in this kind of money, India will have to rethink its strategy. Remember, Chinese money has ruined India's old ties in the past in many countries. Iran could well be the next casualty.